Most of you watching my channel know me for my latest video talking about some cool Trackmania lore. However, I started this channel by showing my records on Trackmania 2 Stadium, the game where I started playing my favorite franchise, especially the solo mode. In fact, my videos before the documentaries are small edits about some of my world record in this very game. But before playing it, I used to watch Nino and Jav video about Trackmania Nation Forever. Whenever they posted new videos, they showcased brand new world record on the TMNF main campaign, and that always amazed me. That's why I even started to play the game in the first place. Since then, many years have passed, and I became rank 1 in the solo of Trackmania 2. So I recently started to wonder if I could get a world record on TMNF myself. Out of all 65 maps, which map I could pick? Well, I decided to play maps where I thought I could see myself get the world record, and I stopped on DO6 because the map looked cool to play. DO6 is a multi-lap map, only composed of wall rides in an O shape. This doesn't really look exciting to play, which it was for the most of its history, until Rollin came as a savior. In March of 2021, he uploaded on his YouTube channel a video you have probably seen, showcasing a cut on this simple looking track. He beat the world record by more than a second by only jumping on lap 2 and 3 using the boosters. This cut started a pretty big battle between him and Madsen until Rollin dropped a 56.86. This stayed as the world record until Dennis pulled a new cutway, chasing the last lap using the scenery blocks, beating Rollin by 0.03 of a second. This is a very hard looking cut that I really didn't want to play, but his cut ended so close to Rollin's PB that I thought maybe I can beat the current cut using Rollin's way. Here is how it went. I already played a bit Rollin's cut back when it was discovered and got a very bad 59.26 PB, a whopping 2.5 seconds behind the world record. I quickly got a better time than my now 3-year-old PB with a 57.78, quickly enough that I actually started to feel confident about getting the world record, or at the very least being close to it. So I tried. I had nothing to lose anyway. After waking up on a brand new hunting day, got quickly stuck as I couldn't see how to do the last jump without losing so much speed to Rollin, until I realized after way too long that you should do this whole map full speed. I didn't know that as I got so much skill issued and the ghost so far ahead that I thought cluelessly that you had to release. That's alright, I may have lost a couple of hours, but at least I got many PBs after that, so much that I entered the top 10 TMX with this run. It took me 2 hours to beat this time with a 57.37. The reason why I mentioned this PB in particular is that out of everything, I got into a triple tie together with Social and Crosshairs. Unlucky, especially because how close we are from a big gap in the top 10. That's fine, because I got another PB. And another PB, finishing this day's session with a 57.27, beating the cluster of records in the top 10. But as Ainix said with his very wise words, now it is time for the hardest step. This is so true, as now my next opponent to beat in TMX is Madsen's 57.04, 23 hundredths of a second faster than my record. That was going to be really tough. You see, it was at that point when I started to get runs ahead Rollin's run, and every time I'm ahead, I lose every cues and eventually fail my attempts. That's when I got the idea to play against a TAS run. A TAS, or Tool Assisted Speedrun, is a run produced by tools where you manipulate the game to create a virtually perfect run. So I searched a TAS run to play against that will always be ahead of me so that I could still have a ghost to look at even when I'm in front of the world record. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any as they were either TAS of Dennis cut or a nose boost strat. I really don't know how to do one. And I basically play a sector until getting a good enough part, then continue to run and so on. After a couple of hours, I got the task into the third lap and oh boy, I lost all my confidence. In fact, despite using a tool to start at the beginning of lap 3 with about 2/10 advantage, I struggled really bad to get the last jump. It took me a full hour with the task to get the last cut without losing speed. I eventually got it, and my very poorly homemade task is a 56.66. So I only have 0.17 of a second margin of error on a 50-second track. That really hurt every bit of confidence I had. But later during the hunt, I will realize how bad my task was. But anyway, let's get back to where I stopped. I started to get very promising attempt, but I really couldn't do anything about the last cut. You see, there are three big problems with the cut. You first have to get over the Rammstein at very high speed without bugging, of course, which is already hard on its own. But you also have to be careful to not turn too much and eventually auto-drift, killing your run. And finally, you have to angle your car to land correctly on the second wall ride. This is very easy in the lap 2, as you don't get too much speed, but on the third lap, you have an extra 60 km/h speed, which makes this jump the hardest part of the map by far. And the better the tries are, the more speed and the harder it becomes to get past this cut. During the next hours of hunt, my runs were either generally slow with a good cut, or a very good run with a bad angle, making me lose so much time, missing the world record on a few occasions. In the end of that day, I just drove a 57.18 and stopped the map. It was just too hard for me, and I also started to get my semester exam as well, so I was just not able to make it. About 3 weeks later, I got very bored and nothing else to do pretty much, so I looked back at my hunt and felt the need to try again. Thanks to Schmanuel also, who throughout my hunting journey always motivated me, so I got back at it with this time the ambition to finally finish this map. I don't know why, but this time I got insane runs, getting even my very first attempt ahead Rollins' run on the very last cut, but failed miserably of course. During that day, I almost started to have world record pace attempts every 2 or 3 runs even. I don't know why. It didn't took me very long to improve my PB to a 57.01, only 1800s behind the world record. Remember when I said my task was poorly made? Well, I got run so fast that I was ahead of my task in the end of the second lap even. My pace was just crazy. My failed run became just more and more insane that day. At 2 AM, I didn't want it to, but I had to go to sleep. The day later, I instantly got to the hunt, eventually getting my very best attempt, failing this run. This is very sad to see, right? Even with that pace, I managed to not bug on the Rammsteins. It was just a matter of turning quicker to the right. But then, after way too long, I finally managed to drive this. How lucky am I to survive this run? Just look at all these clips I got. My run should have ended on so many occasions. But hey, it is what it is. I am quite happy, as you can see with these messages. I just can't believe it. I used to watch these players getting world record on this campaign on YouTube, and now it is my turn to get my own. I know this world record will eventually get beaten by Dennis Cut one day or another, but at least I know that I got it, and I will forever be in this campaign's history on a random red track. Thank you Schmanuel for the motivation, and thank you for watching. Don't hesitate to subscribe to not miss the future projects that are hopefully coming soon. See you in the next one, and have a great day!